Welcome back online for those watching in that way. We started Sustainability Live 2025 on stage 2 with Dr. Adam Read from SUEZ, the Recycling and Recovery company. And that was a discussion on the circularity within the chemical supply chain and industry, and even I understood much of it by the end of it. So that was good going, Adam. And he now promises he's going to save us all money in 30 minutes flat. It's not timeshare; it's for real, and it's a real pleasure to welcome you back on stage, Adam, to talk about transforming waste into a real opportunity. So over to you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is an interactive session, the old post-lunch kind of, there's a bit of a lull in the room, isn't there? Don't take pictures yet, it's going to get far more exciting, I promise you. Right, I'm going to flick some slides up. We're going to ignore them until I get to the one that I want to talk to you about, because I promise to save you some money. The key thing is I'm credible, because I work for a big organisation that has lots of customers. We do lots of different types of service provision to ensure that you get the right materials being collected at the right way, at the right time, to minimise your cost and ensure, number one, your compliance. Because if you're not compliant, you're at risk just as much as I'm at risk. So really important that the guy standing here knows what he's talking about. And thankfully, I've got a PhD in waste management policy failure, so I know what not to do. I spent my life reading the Womble's books, which means I know what litter picking is all about. And I got an MBE for my contributions to the waste industry over the last 30 years. So I think I'm credible, but we'll find out in a moment. Now, this sector is on a huge transition. Yet it's the unpopular, it's the less sexy. We're in room 2 after all. But it could cost you an arm and a leg. Because as net zero comes round and you start to realise that your waste management costs are going to go up and there's requirements on you to do things differently as a business and as a homeowner, that's where the challenge comes. How do we help you do that better? And that's probably the only sales pitch you're going to get off me today, is to challenge you to do it better. So when I say waste, you say rubbish. Good. Because I've got a slide with rubbish on, as if we prepared it earlier. Now, thankfully, the streets of London don't look like this at the moment, but if you're in Birmingham, it's a whole different ballgame, because they've been on strike for quite a while. Now, the reality is, this isn't what I think of when I think waste, because I think resources, I think segregation, I think materials, I think value, and I think opportunity. And yesterday we were talking about closing the loop in the chemical sector by taking resources that I get from you and putting them to better use. That's the circular economy. Now, everybody on your feet, it's interaction time. I've got my camera ready. I'm serious, get up. Otherwise I spend the next 17 minutes, 52 seconds doing nothing, and you just stand there while I take a picture of you. Look at that, beautiful people. Right, are you a good recycler? Shout yes. Brilliant, sit down if you're not. I won't shame you, but I like a bit of honesty. Nobody moved. Okay. So, who put out their recycling at home this week or in the last 7 days? On time, as per the leaflet that was in your... Yeah? All good? Anybody want to sit down and go, I haven't recycled in the last 7 days, Adam? Don't be honest. Okay, did you put all the materials that were on the leaflet, on the website, on the bin sticker, in that bin that week? Bloody hell, you lot are cool. This is Sustainability Live though, isn't it? I'm expecting good things. If this was the Women's Institute, a few of you would have gone down. If this was my son's school, you'd have all left building by now, because he'd be like, he's nuts. Okay, so you've all put the right materials in the right bin? Really? You didn't slip the lasagna in the recycling because the rubbish bin was full? Are you sure? Nobody moving? Okay. Can you tell me if you've recycled that good every week for the last 26 weeks? If you haven't, sit down. Thank you. Well done, you lot. You're cool. Okay. Have you done it for the 26 weeks before that, i.e. for a year? Sit down if you haven't. Okay, this is hardcore now. All right. Okay, so that's about 20% of the room. I'm thinking I'm going to get a picture of you lot. I'm going to pin you up on my wall later. You are my new advocates of recycling. Well done. You can sit down. Okay, so I've just given you a little bit of an example there about why recycling isn't as easy as everybody thinks it is. How long have we been recycling in the UK? Since the war. Some of you will remember that. Ooh, we're not going there. But ultimately, we've had a very comprehensive recycling system in most people's homes for over 25 years. And yet, when you do that exercise with the general public, I've got everybody sitting down long before we get to my final question. Because the reality is, recycling is not as easy or as simple as you think it is. Because what you do in authority A is different from authority B. Where your mum lives is different from what your sister does. And therefore, when you get to the school gate and have a chat, you've now confused your neighbours about what goes in which bin. Okay, chocolate wrappers, in or out? Recycling or not? It's a no at the moment. Okay, good. What about plastic bottles, in or out? Okay, good. Have you checked your local authority website to make sure they are collecting them though? Because they don't have to at the moment. They do next year. Okay, food waste. Who segregates food waste? Okay, does everybody get a food waste collection at home? Oh, there's a few no's over there. No. What are you doing with your food waste? At home? Wow, this is sustainability, people. You're just too good. Okay, when you look at this graph, this kind of explains what a recycling rate in England currently is 44%. And the target is 70%. And the target's going up and performance is going nowhere. Because most of the people get it right some of the time with relative accuracy, but sometimes get it wrong. And the getting it wrong undermines the getting it right. So, you've got a lasagna tray. It's recyclable, but you've left a bit of lasagna in it. Do you A, give it a good wash, B, stick it in your recycling bin, or C, stick it in your rubbish bin? Wash it and then in the recycling bin. Those of you that just put it in the recycling bin are potentially contaminating all of the other paper and card that's already in your recycling bin, because it's going to sit there for a few days, then it's going to be in the back of my lorry, then I'm going to churn it up a little bit, and after 12 hours in the lorry, by the time it gets to my recycling site, I can guarantee you paper mache is not a desirable product, even at school. So, the getting it right is really important. This is why recycling hasn't gone as far as it should. We've got new legislation coming. New legislation that will mean you all get the same materials collected wherever you live, work, and play. Did you know that? No, good. So I've got the right presentation for the right audience. Committed recyclers who didn't know the opportunities are endless. So, some of you have been recycling really, really well for a very long time. Some of you are doing pretty well most of the time. Now, how many of you are recycling at work, your businesses? You can stand up again for this because I want to see whether this is different. Okay, right. I appreciate you might not run your recycling system, but let's bear with me. Who's got a recycling system at work? Stay standing. If you haven't, you can sit down. I won't blame you. Bloody hell, all of you. Okay. Is your recycling system at work in 4 different streams? Do you have a paper and card stream? Do you have a plastic stream? Do you have a glass stream? Do you have a food waste stream? If you've got those 4, you can stay standing. If you mix them, sit down. And if you don't know, sit down. Wow. So you lot are all doing the right thing with the right system. Congratulations. Stay standing. Are you putting the right stuff in the right bins? You can nod at me, the one standing. Right. How many people work in your office or your factory or your sites? More than you, yeah? Right. Children, you're looking at me, I'm starting to get worried now. Are they getting it right? Are you checking the bins? Because is that lasagna tray with the lasagna still in it, in the wrong... let's see, people are going, oh, hang on. This is tricky now, isn't it? It's like mastermind. So, what you do at home translates to what you do at work. But now, that system has to work for everybody in your employment. And the question is, who vets? Who is the bastion of best practice? Who is the guardian of quality? Who is a recycling hardcore champion that's going to go through the bins and go, oi, floor 2, you shit. Sort it out. Or words to that effect. You can sit down now, thank you. Okay, so I just want to flip this one out. I like leaving this one. I do this one a lot. I'm like, do you know what these mean? Of course you do. You're sustainability experts. This is the wrong crowd. But if you were looking for guidance on recycling, just have a think. Which one of those logos is the one that you're going to go to immediately and go, bingo, I can find the answer? Shout me a number out. Oh, 8. 8. 8. Eco-emballage. Very good. Means you're part of a recycling system that you've paid into in Europe. We're not. 2. Mobius loop. Very good. Means recycling. Doesn't mean anything to do with the packaging it's on. Just looks nice. Okay, so any more? 5. Thank you, Lee, who works for me. Yes, that's the only one you should really look at. All the others are environmental, they're sustainable, or they're greenwashing, but they don't tell you anything relevant to where your stuff should go. That's important when it comes to communicating. Right, now I'm going to jump through a load of slides. I just want to leave this one here. There's a load of policy happening in my space at the moment, and the reason I asked you about what you're doing at work is because actually, since April, it's been law to segregate into 4 streams. And if you don't, you could be fined. But don't worry, I've heard it on good authority, the Environment Agency won't be popping around anytime soon. They're a bit busy. Which means I'm going to get fined as the waste management company responsible for giving you a compliant service, or not. So if you've got a non-compliant service and I'm your service provider, I'm having a conversation with you about why it's non-compliant. Maybe you're mixing some of the materials because you haven't got the right space. That's okay, as long as we've had a conversation and we filled out some forms that says you're space constrained, or we don't produce any glass, Adam. But if you haven't done that exercise, I'm still liable, which means I might pull my service from you, because I don't want to be liable for your illegality. Now, the opportunity to segregate, in my opinion, does save you money. There we go, come back to my pitch at the beginning. If you're segregating your materials properly and are not contaminating those bins, there's a good chance that my bin system will be cheaper now than it was last year, because I'm not dealing with lots of rubbish, high cost for disposal. I'm dealing with lots of materials with lower cost for treatment. Bingo. So whoever your contractor is, and there are other contractors out there, I know, I won't mention them, but they are out there and you know who they are. Talk to them about what deals they can do for you. There you go. SUEZ saves you money, even if you're with Veolia or Biffa. I did say them out loud. So, lots of policy, lots of change, lots of opportunity, lots of good news. The question is, how did you know about this stuff that was changing? Who told you? Was it your bin provider? Was it your waste? See, there's some good guys out there and girls. Okay, good. We did a survey recently. Some of my competitors have done similar surveys. It would appear that our customers are getting the right information. I can't vouch for all the others, though. Because at the moment, awareness in the general small business population of the world, of the UK, are suggesting that something like 80% of all small businesses have no idea that stuff had changed in April. But they're illegal. But they're not going to be fined. But the person that's collecting their rubbish could be. If only the agency was going to enforce that. So I think there's an awareness issue here, and I think it's really important that our supply chains start to recognise that we have to help our neighbours to do the right thing. Because the right thing is good for carbon, number 1. Number 2, it's good for your purse. Number 3, we're going to protect the planet. So I can live with all of that. That's good news. But we've recognised that this transition that's happening right now, slides are available afterwards, come and see me by all means, there's lots of detail in there. But what we've recognised is with hundreds of thousands of businesses that all transitioned or didn't in the last 5 months, there aren't enough bins, bags or boxes. There aren't enough vehicles with collection systems that are compartmentalised available. So we know that not everybody's transferred to the new way of doing things, because we haven't seen a logjam in all the infrastructure that we needed to support it, which comes back to the topic I was asked to talk about, which was transforming waste. So when I get your material in its segregated forms, I become an alchemist and I start to do magic, because we can then turn plastics into chemists, into chemicals, and go back into manufacturing. We can turn tyres into a fuel. We can, or into an ethanol or a diesel, biodiesel. The opportunities are endless. Your organics can do wondrous things in agricultural settings. We can produce heat and electricity, only if we get the materials in the right way. So we've got a logjam coming, which I think is really interesting. When you think about an industry that's transitioning, I started by asking you about where you live and what you do. So we've now gone work. Yes, everybody should have one of these new systems. Great. Not yet, but we're getting there. But at home, you're all going to have the same system, the 4 material streams segregated at home from April next year. Did you know that? Good. Finally, you didn't know something that I knew. I feel better for turning up. So there's a huge change coming for some of you. Now, some of you are already recycling really well. You've got a system that looks a bit like that one, haven't you? You've got maybe 2 or 3 materials already being segregated. Maybe you're going to get a food waste collection. Maybe you're going to get a collection of card separate and paper from the other materials, because that's the high quality one. That's the one with the big value chain if you were to get it wet or to get it contaminated. So that's coming in April to households near you. And I think what's interesting is we don't know the answers to lots of the questions, which is why these slide decks go on and on and on. You don't need to worry about the detail, because we've been going back and forth with DEFRA for months about what we're starting to learn about how businesses and local authorities are adapting to these new material streams. And more importantly, what's in and what's out, and where's the flexibility, and how much space is not enough space, and can we mix this material with that? And yes, it's easier to mix glass and plastics than it is to mix glass and paper. For good reason, because it's about quality materials. None of us really want to handle glass at the curbside because it smashes. But I know how much you like your wine. So there's lots of guidance now available. We're starting to learn the lessons about what worked and what didn't. We're seeing about the systems that are effective in inner London or Manchester versus those that are more suburban. It's all good news. The question I raise, though, is so many businesses still don't know about the reforms that have already happened. And so these kinds of campaigns have been happening in Wales for quite a long time, because Welsh recycling is a few years ahead of English, because they've already done this kind of segregation from businesses. They've already been promoting the source segregated approach, and they've already been encouraging businesses and households to adapt new practices ahead of England. Now, there's the loop that you should have gone. That's the one that tells me about recycling, because that's the one font of all knowledge. That's where you should go. But actually, that campaign was the last time we had a national campaign. That's 15 years old, by the way. National campaign talking about recycling. So at the moment, all your messaging is coming locally. Well, that's okay, because it's a local service. But actually, if you want to get all those businesses that don't know anything is happening around them to change, we need to make sure that national campaigns, the type that Eddie Izzard was doing, the possibilities are endless. His voiceover is quite legendary. Google it or YouTube it. But ultimately, this is the space we need to move into. More communications, more engagement, more honesty about what's happening. Because if we don't, we're going to have a load of businesses that are just going to get hamstrung. And actually, they're not going to save any money. And they're going to be non-compliant. And it's going to undermine this kind of journey to sustainability. And that was one of the adverts that was busy on TV when Eddie was doing his voiceovers. So huge amounts of opportunity out there. We've got a DRS system that's coming in. Anybody heard about DRS, deposit return? Put a 20p on your cans and plastic bottles when you buy it at the supermarket. Once you drop them back off in a reverse vending machine, you get your 20p back. Suddenly, we're asking people to change their behaviours in a way that hasn't happened in a long time. You all recycle at home. You've all got a curbside box. Now you've got to go to the supermarket to take most of that material back. I'm interested in how engaged the public will be. My mum is already going, what? I've been recycling at home for 25 years. Why have I got to go to Tesco's? Other brands are available. So there's huge change coming, and that material stream isn't necessarily, it's going to be better quality because it's going to be kept separate. But are we going to get as much when we're asking you all to do more? Interesting times. So we've got a report coming out soon. Check out my website, SUEZ, but ETS, emissions trading, carbon taxation, if you like. There's going to be carbon taxation placed on anything that gets burnt, just like there's a landfill tax on anything that gets landfilled. We're making all the disposal options more expensive. Great. That makes your collection costs more expensive, unless you're segregating properly, in which case your collection costs will drop because your material value is high and we can do things with it. But if you've only got a mixed bin of rubbish and it hasn't got a lot of recycling in it, or it has got a lot of recycling in it, even worse, that's going to get taxed. So things are changing. And carbon capture, one of the new innovations, let's put stuff in a burner, let's burn it and then capture the carbon. Or why don't we just take the carbon out of the waste stream early, take the plastics out and recycle them at source? Take your pick. One's really, really expensive and takes a while to get to. The other one you could do at home. Or we could just not buy plastic. Your decision. Lots of UK projects, lots of investment, lots of opportunity. The waste industry is changing at a pace quicker than I could ever remember before. We went from hump it and lump it, Mr. Landfill, in 25 years to a recycling sector that is now morphing into a reuse, repair, remanufacturing. We are the nuts and bolts, the enablers of the decarbonisation agenda in transport, in buildings, in chemicals, in retail. It's a fascinating space. And we're becoming a lot cleaner and less smelly, which is good for those of us that want a career. And in the future, there's a load more AI, and there's going to be all sorts of Amazon-style supply chain. Our data is growing exponentially, which means we can do really interesting things, including work out when to come and get your bins, what day of the week, what time works for you, where's the best quality, and how do we maximise that opportunity for you. So green skills, my final point, huge opportunity. My sector has 135,000 core staff today. In the next 10 years, it's going to grow by 250,000 core staff, and most of those are going to be in jobs that don't exist today because they happen in sheds. They're repairers, they're upcyclers, they're reupholsterers, they're people that are creative. They're not waste managers. They don't collect rubbish, they never will, but they're going to be critical to the future of our sector, which is why we did this work with the New Statesman last year. Huge theme at Labour Party conference in a few weeks' time. So in summary, change is coming. Most of you are prepared for it. Well done. If you're not, check it out because it's going to save you money and ensure you're compliant. If you carry on doing some good stuff, you can sleep well at night. And I appreciate your time. I'm happy to take questions. Thank you.